So here we are again. It's for the Tsfat Chaim, 18 minutes of preparation for Shabbos, and God willing, should be able to welcome the Shabbos, the Queen, once again with a lot of expectations. I would think it's like every meeting we're preparing to, the more we'll prepare for that meeting, we're going to be ready and we will be able to receive what we want from that meeting. Here, every week, we have a new meeting with Shabbos, right? We meet Shabbos. I would say women are more fortunate. They meet Shabbos before us, already by Wednesday shopping, Thursday laundry, the daytime, Thursday night or Friday cooking. They really get the inspiration of Shabbos earlier. We come from work, from study, from wherever we are. Still, there's need of preparation, and the more we prepare, the more we get from Shabbos, that's for sure. So we're starting now. The halacha of today we're going to learn is regarding if someone made a kiddush over a cup and he makes a bracha over the wine, and when he comes to drink, you see that accidentally he had water in his cup, or juice, or Coke, or coffee, I don't know. So he should come back and make the kiddush again over the wine. But if there was a bottle of wine in front of him on the table, that's okay. He does not need to make kiddush again because his intention was over wine, and the bottle with wine stood on the table. That's good enough. Okay, beautiful. I saw a few minhagim by reciting kiddush. We usually make the kiddush overnight at night. We make the kiddush, everybody stands up, the whole family, congregation, and that's Friday night. And on Friday morning, we make the kiddush seated. But there's a few minhagim. I once was by a family that they would start the night kiddush standing. In the middle of the kiddush, they would sit down and complete the kiddush. Each one should do as according to his minhag. And for sure, any way you're doing it, Hashem loves it. And we should not have any disappointment of ourselves during Shabbos. It's not needed, because why should I be disappointed for something that there's no reason for any disappointment? I mean, you did the right thing. What are you disappointed about? Yes, here comes the little Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, sits here somewhere in the back of our mind and starts knocking. My man, you're doing the wrong thing. Lady, I beg your pardon, you're out of mind. You're out of course. You're out of line. Hashem is not happy with what you do. You should do better. You should do. No. I think I told you the story. I was just in Toronto 3 weeks ago, And I was hosted by Rabbi Gisselson up north in the Kahal Yareim, the Hasidic shul community, beautiful community. And I went to a walk Friday night after the meal. It was raining, like good rain. And I enjoyed walking there in the rain. I saw little kids, a few kids, two kids. They must have been like 10, 11, fooling around with one another, playing here, there. And I greet them, Good Shabbos, how are you? He says to me, Good Shabbos to you. And we started talking. It was dark, it was like 11 p.m. And I said to him, do you like the rain? He says, yes, beautiful, we love the rain. So one of the kids tells me that he heard from his teacher that the teacher told him that the rain represents Hashem's tears, that he's sad because of the averos we do. We do the wrong things. Hashem cries, he's sad, and these are the tears of Hashem, the rain. So I told him, yeah, well, how about thinking that the rain could be the tears of Hashem, that he loves you so much. And out of love to you, he cries. Wow. So the kid says, oh, wow, yes. I never thought about it. That sounds amazing. That sounds beautiful. And the other kid says to him, you see, you always have to be positive. So this was a beautiful interaction. And I was happy that I was able to be there with these two holy young kids that hopefully will remember me even when they're adults, that we should not interpret Hashem's actions towards us as an aggravation or punishment or sadness or anything like, because we're completely wrong. Completely wrong. We should be happy about our Yiddishkeit. We should be happy about our mitzvahs, about our Torah learning, little or a lot, as much as we do according to our ability. That's good, and Hashem loves it. We'll continue to learn with the last week on Thursday. There was lack of communication. There was no video, only audio. And I'd like to repeat something we learned last time from the Zohar, Sefer Zohar, HaKadosh, and reads that while in the Shabbos meal, we have to have 10 things that will be engaged to do 10 things, while first thing, and it's also applicable to other meals of the week, and as we further on, because we want to make a bracha al netilas yadayim, therefore we should wash our hands for the bracha. Number 2, we have to make a bracha hamotzi over 2 loaves of bread. Like the Torah was giving with 2 tablets, shnei luchos habris, we're also going to make hamotzi over 2 loaves of challah. Number 3 is 3 meals during Shabbat. Night Seudah and the day Seudah and the afternoon on Shabbos day, Shalashudis, the 3rd meal. The 4th thing that has to be present is to lighten up the table with candles. As we mentioned before, the table in the Beis Hamikdash was set in the northern part of the Beis Hamikdash of the temple, and the candles were posted on the south, on the southern part of the temple. And this how the table of God, which is Zohar called our Shabbos table. Yes, your Shabbos table is called the table of God. The Shulchan of HaKadosh Baruch Hu also has to be the same way. Fifth thing, we have to make a cup. We have a cup for the Kiddush, and a full cup. The sixth thing is to have Divrei Torah on our table. That, as the Mishnah brings, the three who have eaten on one table and haven't said words of Torah, it's not so good. Number 7 is to have your meals a bit longer. In those days, the poor people would walk around and try to find some place to eat. So they would obviously weren't invited anywhere. So if you ate longer, your table would be still a bit longer, then they have a chance to join you for the meal. And number 8, Ma'im Achronim. Before benching, there's a minhag, halacha, that we should wash the tips of our fingers with water into a vessel that will be thrown further afterwards to a basin, to a sink, that there are no dishes over there. I saw many people are taking the Ma'im Achronim, the water, the Ma'im Achronim container, and empty it up into their sink where they have utensils in the sink, and they pour it just on that. It's the wrong thing to do. These water have to be disposed of on an empty sink, not on dishes, because these water are impure. They belong to the other side, to the Sitra Achra, to the negative side. We give them, we nourish the other side, the negative, the Yetzer Hara. We feed them with little water, kind of. This is the explanation for Ma'im Achronim. By that, we kind of, I'm not sure how it's been done, but this is the reason we wash our tips of our fingers with water, and by that we give the negative parts some nourishment. Take, have your vitality and leave me alone. Let me make my bracha, my benching. Let me make benching over the food with complete devotion and kavanah and connection to Hashem, without you, the left side, the Yetzer Hara, bothering me. So these water should not be poured over vessels, over utensils, just on an empty sink. And the number 9, the 9th thing is just we say Kiddush over a cup of wine in the beginning of the Suda. We're going to try to make the Kiddush, the Zimun of 3 men holding over a cup. And I once saw in a Sefer that if someone is used to make Kiddush over a cup of wine every meal, and this particular meal he didn't have 3 men eating together with him, he still can make the Birkas HaMazon, benching over the food, over a cup of wine for himself alone in the house, and then drink the cup of wine after the meal, after the benching, and make an after bracha, of course, of the wine after the meal. That's the 9th thing, and the 10th thing is the Birkas HaMazon, that it is representing the wedding that we had with Hashem upon leaving Mitzrayim. I'm not sure what's the connection over here, but still, beautiful 10 things we have to do over the wine. So we're 15 minutes through the 18 Tsfat Chai. And one more thing, we're holding the Parshas Ba'aloscha. We'll read something from the Parsha, as we have our tradition that here Hashem spoke to Moshe and says to him, talk to Aaron and tell him that when you rise up the candles, the Torah should say it when you lit the candles. Behaloscha means elevating, rising, upwards, making things up. What does it mean? What does it mean? Behaloscha, when you elevate the candles, when you stand in front of the menorah, then the 7 candles would glimpse. The commentary asked, many commentaries asked this question, and Rashi brings down one thing that wants to say that when Aaron Cohen when he came to lit up the menorah, he had like his Cohen Gadol as a he had over his forehead, Hashem, with his name on that. And because it was like, this also represents for us the tefillin of our head, the head tefillin that we put we are also called the priests. As the Pasuk says, V'atem, you, the nation of Israel, Kohanei Hashem tikareu, you are called the priests of Hashem, the priests of God. So we have to know how high, how esteemed our job, our duty is to be so happily serving God, as a high priest would, as the priests would serve, the Kohanim would serve in the Beis Hamikdash. So the halacha says that the Kohen Gadol should never lift his hands above the tzitz. That should be the highest. It should sit on the highest part of the body, which is the head. If you lift up your hands above the tzitz, no good. So the menorah was high. So if Aaron would get his hand to lit the menorah, he's transgressing the mitzvah of not allowed to be rising your hands on top of your head. So there was like a bench of 3 steps. So he would climb on that bench, 1, 2, 3, and then when he lights the menorah, he can lit it like this, and he wouldn't have to raise his hands above his head. One more thing we learn is that when we lit the Shabbos, when Aaron lit the candles, when you light the candle, then you can lit the edge of the candle and then let it burn by yourself, and you move to the other candle. But the halacha over Chanukah candles as well, and over Shabbos candles as well, that you should not let go of the match or the other candle you're using to lit up the other candles. You should not let go until you see that the candle itself, like observed, drank, is independent. So if this is, for example, the Shabbos candles, and we come in with the match, so we have to be sure not to do this. This is the wrong thing, to light the edge, right? And to go. No. You see now the fire is coming up. It's going up. Okay, what we have to do is to do this, to light the candle, and to let it and to let go of it now. As you see that the candle is taking from the wax, and only then we could move to the second candle. Obviously, as we said before, the candles have to be prepared ahead of time to burn the weeks before Shabbat, so it'll be easier to light the candles. So beautiful! Thank you again for joining me, and I hope we definitely had a beautiful session again. And I'll say goodbye to you, and we'll see you, God willing, next week in Yom Chamishi, Thursday, as the preparation for the meeting, which is Shabbos Kodesh. Fine. Good Shabbos, everyone. Good Shabbos. Shabbos.